Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Rewind That. It's your girl, Miss K. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Today we are going to conclude our coverage of Get Gotti. So we're discussing episode number 3. Oh, sucky now. With my girl, Pretty Girl Loves Trap Content. Okay. So what's up to Rashawn Greer, J Mac, and Daria? Thanks for being here. So can you tell me, Pretty Girl, what you thought about this last
tomfoolery? It was a lot. It was entertaining, but I just had a lot of questions because now it got me more intrigued. I don't want to get too far, but I was just, after John, like, who, how did that change the mob forever and who took over? Like, I'm now like, okay, I'm about to do a whole deep dive. I don't
know. I know, right? It just makes you want to know more. Like, what?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Like, I need a part 4 or something. I'm gonna like, I need more. You got any more of those episodes? But it was good. They had some good things going on in the episode. I liked it.
Yes, indeed. All right, well, I liked it too, and I can't wait till we get to certain parts of it. And it's kind of like we gotta wait to the end to get to that part, that I really want to talk about. But it's so good. I said it's so good. It's all good. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm just trying to text to see if she's okay. All right, guys. So let's just get into the episode because doesn't seem. Oh no! Wait, what is this? Okay, whew. I almost got scared for a second. Like, wait, find out stuff is not on here. Yeah, that's kind of lopsided. All right, guys. So, when we get to the episode actually starts off with Anthony explaining who John Gotti was to him, right? We find out that to him, John Gotti was a mentor and someone who looked out for him and all of that. And so, Anthony says that, he got kicked out of school and immediately wanted to be a gangster. And I actually liked what Gotti told him, like he didn't just like basically go right into like, oh, of course, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he's selling the life, he actually was trying to get him into bricklaying, and he was like, I don't want to do that ish, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to be a gangster, I want to work for you. And so he says that Gotti told him that, basically this life ain't all it's cracked up to be, so be ready, you know what I'm saying? You want to be a gangster? He told Anthony that he better be ready for the Justice Department, okay? To chase him for the rest of his freaking life. He's like, go to Washington, D.C. and go look at that Justice Department, okay? How did you feel about that? Like, did it make you kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to put nothing in here. Just
no, it was cool. I mean, I like that, I thought it was somebody else. I didn't catch it was John who told him. I thought it was because I think he said he didn't go to his father, but he went to somebody else.
Yeah, he didn't go to his father because his father wouldn't talk to him. So he went to John and Lee.
Okay. I heard the other guy. I didn't catch John.
Yeah, and so like for me, if he didn't specifically say John told me.
Yeah.
But he is saying that he starts off saying that John was his mentor and this and that, and that, he went to him looking for a job. And so I would think more importantly, he's going to be saying John, not John Lee. I mean, not Lee, you know what I'm saying? So I just figured, okay, he must be talking about, because I was looking at that too. Like I had to rewind, like, is he talking about John?
Yeah, it's like
the context of it. It was John. All right. So we're going to bring in Moochie.
Hey y'all, what's up?
Hey. What is going on?
I didn't know you sent the link. I was sitting right here waiting for you to send it. I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. Okay, so we were just talking about how the episode starts off with Anthony saying who John was to him. I also want to point out that when we first started this series, covering this series, I know that the first episode we were wondering why these guys are talking so freely, and like, did they cooperate eventually? We found out by the next episode that other dude, he cooperated. Sal. And then we find out on this one, Anthony, he didn't. He was more like he was Team Gotti through and through.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he's talking freely now because it's over with.
Exactly. But I was still a little concerned, like, don't say too much now.
Right. People done snitched and people don't
you could tell from the first episode that he was about it, that he was like loyal, because he explained like you're gonna have to deal with this building when he said he wanted to work with his dad. So I love the way he broke that down.
Yeah.
It reminds me, and I hate to bring in the show because we're not talking about that, but it reminds me like I'm Raising Kanan, how Rock told Kanan, like, put this bullet out there, it's gonna be chasing you for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
That's exactly what it is.
You need to know the severity of what you about to get into.
Exactly.
Yep. So definitely like that. Okay, now guys, the organized crime. Oh my gosh, Muji, I was about to take you out by mistake. Sheesh. So now the organized crime task force has moved ahead with their own case against Gotti, right? Because the FBI done failed. Okay. So they were bringing a state prosecution against Gotti, and the main focus was the shooting of John O'Connor, which was ordered by John Gotti. All right, and of course, Gotti pleads not guilty. But if found guilty, he could be sentenced to life in prison. Okay, so now the perspective of the FBI is like this through George, right? He's saying that it basically became a competition between the FBI and the task force, right? But the FBI, they wasn't going to give up working towards putting Gotti away. And, this whole competition thing is just really stupid to me, right? But George was basically saying that it was like a punch in the face. He actually said that it was like a black eye to the Bureau, because it was as if the task force was saying they can't put John away. And like as everything goes along, I don't want to jump ahead, but as things go along, when you hear their perspective, like the FBI versus the members of the task force perspective, they wasn't on the same, they wasn't on the same like wave, I guess. Like they just wasn't on it like that. It seems like to me, the people with the biggest egos were the FBI. That's what you know what I'm saying? So, and they was like, oh, it was like a punch in the face. They ain't thinking about y'all. They just trying to put this guy away.
They thinking about their careers. That's what they thinking about. And what kind of blemish this is going to leave because they couldn't get the golden goose.
Exactly. Okay, so now the FBI finds out that John has been conducting business in an upstairs apartment from the Ravenite Club, right? And they don't hear him on the wiretaps, but he's not seen leaving the scene of the Ravenite. So they see him go in the Ravenite, but they never see him come out. They hear his voice for a little bit, then all of a sudden they don't hear him no more. They don't hear, Sam, like they don't hear nothing. So they're like, what the heck is going on? Then they find out there's a back door. There's also an upstairs apartment and all that it belonged to this old lady who was like a widow of a old wise guy. I'm telling you, they could find somebody that stays loyal and down for life.
This is the old neighborhood. They probably was bringing her groceries every month and taking care of whatever bills she needed taken care of. We just gonna use your apartment, sweetheart. We're just gonna use your apartment. We're gonna have a couple of meetings here. You go walk your dog or go shopping here. Take some of this money.
Yeah,
that's
ain't
just
no
how
problem.
They was with her.
Ain't no problem.
Look, I'm speculating, so I gotta say it like that.
Nah, that's exactly what was happening.
Here, you go walk your dog. We're gonna have a chat here.
No, we're gonna have
come back.
Walk.
We'll send a car for you. Car mine to come back and get you.
Yeah, it's kind of how like the D boys on the block, use certain houses for like safes and stash house and cook houses and stuff like that.
Right. Exactly. So now that they figured this out, now George is like, Dad, I know for a fact that that's where this bug needs to be. That's where the conversations are happening at, because we can't hear nothing in the Ravenite. So they definitely having conversations upstairs, so. And it was like, the crazy thing is that, like, if you don't hear John somewhere, that's odd because he was a talker. I mean, obviously, it's clear throughout this whole documentary that man ran his mouth. It's stain. Oh my goodness. I guess. I'm trying to. I'm on lot. Wow. Why did you do that? Oh my Jesus, guys! My son cut his hair like I don't know what. You got to go though because I'm on live.
Well, he got zigged.
He
basically got all baldy. Basically.
Oh damn!
He said
That's
it
not
was
the
a
college
mistake.
boy.
No, it's not. It's the oldest.
Oh.
He said he said it was a mistake. The Clippers surprised him or something like that.
Yeah, he got zigged. It was like,
was he holding the Clippers or somebody else did it?
He
now
normally know how to cut his own hair pretty good.
He probably
so.
dozed off or turned his head. It was one or the
My
other.
God, I don't
like,
know
yo,
what
look
happened.
at this son, and he turned his head. And it was and it went.
It's giving Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
so
what I was thinking about.
Gumby. So now, guys, we get to this. To me, this is like I was laughing a little bit, but so George has to keep calling the apartment now because he's on a mission. I actually love hearing how they went about getting these wires and doing what they did. Like the task force had the most interesting story to me, but then how they went about it, they got to keep calling her. Basically, it's like prank calling or whatever, like, but you're not saying anything. Click.
Yeah.
This old poor lady. So finally he calls and there's no answer. And so he's like, okay, now it's time to make a move. And I'm like, wow. And they even said it like it was very risky to do that. But then you get this one guy right here who's also taking over telling the story. And because he was a part of the team that had to go in there and actually, break into the apartment. They scoped it out at first. Like this is over a course of, I guess, a few weeks. So he went and scoped it out. And then they found out that there was a barking dog. And he was making me laugh because he was saying, he was like, that damn dog, that damn dog. So he was not happy about that freaking dog who was barking. And so as they were going through like the hallway, he was saying that the hallway was eerily like quiet. He said he ain't hear no TVs, no nothing. And I'm just like, to me, I would be afraid to do this kind of job. And he said that the guy was having troubles with the locks and everything and, was making all this noise. And he was like, the lock was definitely going to wake that damn dog up. I'm like, you're muted. You're muted. Pretty girl.
The whole reenactment with the dog, it took me out. Like the way it wasn't giving cheesy though. It was giving like good TV.
Yeah. And that dog looked annoying too. It looked like one of them little loud dogs. Like, shut up. Oh my gosh. So
one of those dogs that be biting your ankles and whatnot.
Yes. Oh my God. So, he had me cracking up, but it was successful. They finally were able to get the bug in. Okay. But the problem is that, George was saying he was listening to The Wire for like 3 days and he was getting nothing. Okay. And now that's something that is, it's bad because he wasn't getting no criminal conversations, no nothing for 3 days straight. And they're like, this is concerning for them because they got to go back every 30 days to, renew the order for The Wire or, get it approved or whatever you call it. Right. And so now this was the most interesting part for me. And I want to hear y'all take on this. So George is saying that they have to do something desperate now. Okay. And that's what they call tickling the wire. And so this is when they arrange something that will spark or tickle a conversation. So George says that they went as far as arranging the America's Most Wanted special on the Paul Castellano case. And I was like, oh my freaking goodness. So before I get you guys take on that, your thoughts, it actually worked. Okay. Because the next thing you know, they got John Gotti on the wire and he is talking about freaking Paul Castellano. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this man really like, I'm not mad at him because he was the type of man that just seemed like I'm not holding nothing inside. I'm getting everything off my chest. Stuff bothers me. I'm going to say what bothers me. And why can't I? I'm the boss. Yeah. Who going to check me, boo? Once again, pretty girl.
He needed to get a therapist like Tony Soprano. Like, come on now.
Right, exactly. And then to think, Tony Soprano, they said he would have got whacked or something like that if they would have found out that he was seeing a therapist. But John Gotti needed a therapist. He was really talking a lot.
I wonder if Paul peeped that trait, and maybe that was one of the reasons why there was other reasons why he didn't choose John, but I wonder if he peeped that characteristic of John.
That was one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons. His cockiness.
Yeah.
How he liked to have all of these photo ops. He was in the Time magazine. What monster you know that was in the Time magazine other than like it'll be a pew pew picture that he got taken out. You didn't know about them until they were gone. Not like this. He was out of control.
Right. Remember in Casino? Was it Casino or
yeah, it was Casino.
It was a dude that was talking and he was buying furs for his wife. He was doing like a way too much and they had to delete him.
Oh, that was Goodfellas you talking about.
Goodfellas, okay. Because I'm like, listen, they take you out for that. All that running your mouth and being loud and causing drawing attention. So, but like I said, he said I'm the boss, so I can do what I want to do.
You gotta look at it like this too. He started out as a soldier, as a hitman. So who he really scared?
Right. And we're going to put a pin in that because we're definitely going to get to that when we start talking about Sammy the Bull. I can't wait. So anyway, the tickling of the wire, they actually have a whole like episode.
That's crazy.
Yes. And so they start talking about it. And you hear John on the wire, and it's he's talking with Sammy and Frankie Lacas. What's the name? Lacasio. It says Lacat. I think it said Lacasio or something like that. They heard him on the wire, and you could hear Gotti talking about how much he hated Paul. Okay, like he didn't outright say that he deleted him, but it was good enough for the FBI because George was saying that he basically laid out the reasons why Paul was deleted. All right. And then Gotti says, all this guy needed was a whack in the mouth. Right. And remember last week when I said that I wondered if Paul got shot in the mouth? That's where I got it confused because I kept saying, I could have sworn I heard him say something in the mouth, this and that. Right. It wasn't that. It was that he said he needed a whack in the mouth. So my bad.
This is the part when they was talking about bust him up.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is the part where they were just talking about what's his name? Paul.
Oh, they was just Paul Castellano? Yeah. They was talking about that hit. They was talking about that. And he was kind of in a celebratory mood that the guy was gone. Or like, you know how somebody gloats about it. He didn't say he did it.
Yeah. But, he was just saying that he needed to be taken care of. Listen to what he's saying. He was a effing fish on the desert, a fish out of water, blah, blah, blah. Like he was a rat, all of this. He needed a whack in the mouth. Like, he was saying all this stuff basically of, like they said, reasons why he needed to go or just showing a lot of disdain towards him. So, yeah. But the George, he's happy about this, guys. He's happy that he hears all of this because now he feels like this is the place I'm on the right track and I could put a RICO case together. So he breaks down the elements needed for a RICO case. There's 3 elements. You need existence of criminal enterprise, proof of membership in the criminal enterprise, and 2 criminal acts on behalf of the enterprise. And I actually love how they kind of broke all of this down, like just kind of showing all the levels and all the steps and just all the checkpoints, like check, check, check. It don't seem like it was hard for them to get these checks, but obviously they lived it. So clearly they was tired of chasing this dude and it wasn't that easy for them. Did anybody wanted to add anything about what we said so far?
No, I did. I'm good. No, I did like they broke it down what they actually needed because I don't think I knew this information before.
Right. And we need this kind of information when we be watching Palace.
Me and Miss K, we already know they can't do that.
Exactly. I was totally thinking about this, like, oh, we're gonna have a field day with this information. Yes, scratching my head moments are coming.
Definitely.
Woo, we gonna have a field day. Stop playing.
I did like the list that they wrote down, but other than that, I just wanted to see how they was gonna cover it when they brought it out. This was where I was with it when I was watching it.
Right. What's up, Candy Love? Okay, and Torian, what's
Hi,
up?
Candy.
Torian Rain. Okay, so meanwhile, y'all, we got Gotti still has to he still has his state case with the task force. Okay, so it looked good because they had a tape of Gotti saying we're gonna bust them up. There we go with the bust them up thing. That's where it's coming from, right? And so they were saying that you can't cross-examine a tape. Okay. And while they were in the courtroom, Gotti was the only one that didn't want to put on the headphones. And when the reporter asked him, like, how come you weren't listening? Why didn't you want to put the headphones on? And he said, because he liked listening to Julio Iglesias. And I'm like, this man is something else. But you could see the excitement on her face. Like, I got to talk to Gotti. Like, you can just tell. Remember we talked about this last week? Like, I know that's the conversation that the girl had when she went home. They probably were, her and her friends could have probably been like, listen, they're like, do you think you can get close to him and probably like, let him bang you? I bet you.
I just want to get all the information. I just want to get as much as I can. Well, I'm going to dress up and doll myself up because he won't look at me if I wear something like this. She probably was picking out her outfits to just stick that microphone out, y'all.
Yeah. Well, her friend was probably like, the best way to do it is to let him get between your legs. You got to give it a try, hon. Let him get between your legs. It's the best way to a man.
Look, it's no harm. It's no harm. You're getting what you want.
Yeah, and he's good looking too. Did you see him on the latest cover?
Oh, yeah, he's just a looker.
Of the Post?
He's gorgeous.
I do him in a heartbeat.
He's gorgeous. You know what I would say. I just want to eat him up.
Yeah, I've had my share, so I'd go for it.
And those Italian men, they sure know how to woo a gal.
All right, guys. Exactly. We about to get back
out of here.
Oh my God! Well, if we run out of shows to review, we definitely gonna be doing some plays.
Plays. We'll be putting on some plays, reading the loins, hun.
They reading transcripts. I could read a damn play on here.
Sure could.
That's what you heard.
Woo! Okay, so let's see.
All right, let's get back. Okay. Moving on.
So now let's listen to what Laura had to say. So basically, she was kind of letting us know that the FBI looked at the state trial as an advantage because they figured that Gotti would talk about his day in court afterwards, which they definitely was not wrong about, okay? Sure enough, you hear Gotti on the tape saying that John O'Connor could jeopardize the whole Cosa Nostra. Oh my gosh, why did he say freaking Cosa Nostra? All right, basically mentioning La Cosa Nostra on tape proved the existence of the enterprise, which is an element needed to make a RICO case. That's actually, I think, the first freaking element, guys. I'm like, wow. Like, in a conversation, who would say that? Like, we know who we are. It's just weird to me. Like, you know who you are. Why would you actually mention it?
It's like you would think if this wasn't a documentary, it's a bad movie because you would only think bad movies would really have people saying all this.
Right, like you really just laying it out.
They just want everything to fall into their lap. And they wanted, and I feel like they did a lot of like, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, meanwhile, as the state moves forward, let me see if I have the right picture. All right. So, as the state moves forward with the case for Gotti, John Gotti's lawyer, he kind of does it again, like, and they said you can't cross-examine a tape, but he sure the heck tries. Okay. And he's cross-examining a witness on the stand. And his argument was that bust them up could mean different things to different people. And you hear him, like one of the guys from the task force was like, are you serious? Like, is he really trying to make an argument out of this thing? Like, it was laughable to them, but the job of the defense team is to create any kind of like question in a juror's mind, and that's what he was doing. Because he basically is telling a guy, well, did you know, could you read his mind? And it was just like, oh my gosh, this guy. Did you want to say anything about that, Mooch?
I thought it was a brilliant idea for him to do it because they thought they had a slam dunk case with the tapes. They thought they had a slam dunk case with the tapes. So I feel like they was kind of like thinking it's not gonna go anywhere, but he was asking the right questions.
Right.
To make you have a doubt with things.
Yeah. He sure was. Okay. But we got John, he's still kind of worried about it. So he decides that in case he goes to jail, he's gonna put things in order. Like, I'm still the boss, but Sammy is gonna be the underboss. He's gonna be, he's in charge or whatever. So he tells Sammy the Bull that he wanted him to be the underboss, and he's heard on tape telling Sammy to think about it. Okay. So now with this on tape, you got another element for the RICO case, which was proving that Gotti was a member of the criminal enterprise. So I'm like, check. Another check.
I was like, damn, he's talking a lot.
I know. What's up, Renee Hicks? So we got that check going on. Okay. All right. Now we hear, let me see. I got to make sure that I'm on the right track. So we got that, right? So then Gotti is heard on the wire saying, give us the names, right? So basically grab a juror and get him to tell them the names of the jury. So, but George says that there was no real proof of the case being compromised. So they didn't tell the task force about it because they didn't want to expose the wire. So unfortunately, I mean, I thought that was so messed up. What y'all think about that? Pretty girl, you can go first. Hold on, sorry.
No, it's just trifling, but all their egos are involved in this. And it's like, well, I ain't gonna help you because we won't get the credit.
Exactly.
It's a mess. But my thing is, from my understanding, this is in chronological order. John, why are we still talking on the inside? Like, from my understanding, he was trying to promote Gravano while this trial is going on, right?
Yeah.
And in the trial, they're reviewing tapes from his spots. Why are we still talking on the inside? Like, I'll be walking around Central Park or whatever.
Right.
Like, I'm like, why are we still talking?
Like in Casino, they went way out to the desert and they still was covering their mouths while they was walking.
It was baffling to me. I'm like, am I understanding this? There's no way this is right, because you wilding, John, but go ahead.
Hey, we're gonna get to that. I think one of the reasons why he was doing this too. But Moochie, did you want to add anything?
Yo, it's just like when they was playing them tapes, I was like, damn. It's just like he really, but he's speaking freely because he think this spot is safe.
Right.
But to me, it's like the way you had him walking up, parading up and down the block, that's when you should have been outside talking. That you should have always held court outside.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's what what's his name used to do. As much as I didn't like him, Marlo, talking outside, baby, talking outside. I'm saying outside like Chicago people. What up, Chicago? All right. So it's not guilty again, guys. Like, and it was to the task force surprise, and this increased his celebrity. Okay, but first let's talk about this little picture real quick. Like, you got Gotti first looking a little bit concerned, okay, but at the same time, you hear Anthony saying that he was told, I think by Lee, or was it Tommy? I don't know. Is it Tommy Lee? That he was told by him, whoever it was that's very close with Gotti at the time, that they already made like a pact that they wouldn't show, whether he was convicted or not. They weren't going to show any emotion or give them the satisfaction. But he still was like, yes. He did it anyway. Because he probably was, you never know, he probably was a little scared this time.
Yeah, he was looking a little nervous.
Yeah, especially if he was making plans to like,
yeah,
you know, like, okay, we're gonna put things in place and stuff like that. All right. Yeah. So now we're gonna talk about this real quick. So now, like I said, the celebrity is getting bigger now. Okay, he's happy, of course, and he had a party with fireworks. Okay, and now you hear on the news that he's now known as the Teflon Don because nothing stuck to him. Okay, and then you have Andrea saying, sorry, I'm just going here. I thought I had her picture, but you have her saying that as Gotti beat the cases, he became more arrogant and flamboyant. So not only is he probably was already like this, but now it's really going to his head, and beating these cases left and right is making him probably feel untouchable. Like, where the heck did Moochie go?
She messaged me. She said she had to leave and come back. She couldn't post in StreamYard.
And the thing, okay. So yeah, so now it's like, hey, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. Huh?
I'm out here.
Yes. I'm like,
I'm outside. Like,
right. I'm telling you, I was a little girl, but like I could see why people were intrigued with him. I'm not.
I know.
Like,
I remember coming home from college, and he used to be on the news almost every day. Night. Yes. Every night.
Yes, that's what I remember. I don't remember like details. I knew he was a mob dude, but woo.
Yeah.
I didn't know the details. I was too young to care, you know. But man, oh man, what a story. So, Teflon Don, guys. Now the members of the task force, they explain that they finally hear that the FBI got a wire. You know, they got a bug out. And then they hearing through the streets that they actually heard some information about paying off the the jurors or whatever. And so they're pissed off. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's rightfully so. They were upset about it, and I totally understand. There were some of the members were saying, we wouldn't have done that because if we would have heard something on our bug while they were doing, during their investigation or their trial, we would have let them know, because you just don't do that in law enforcement. So that's why I was saying earlier that they just wasn't on the same, like, you know what I mean? They weren't on it like the way the FBI was. So, I'm like, wow. So anybody, Moochie, go ahead.
The FBI has a what they say, like a 99% conviction rate. Mm-hmm. So they trying to keep that record, and I feel like they did a lot of little, different things, and they didn't let like the left hand know what the right hand was doing, so to speak, as far as law enforcement, like your fellow colleagues and things of that nature. So yeah, it was kind of foul. And like I said, this was anybody that got this and this made their career. This is one of the things that made Giuliani, because they did certain things that he did.
So, I was thinking about Giuliani when I was watching this with all that.
This is when we started to take notice. I'll say our culture, hip hop culture, where this is when he was starting to be mentioned in records and things of that nature.
And I like this picture because it's in my neighborhood. I like the it's in Harlem, so I
okay, girl.
I know that's Harlem.
I was thinking about him too, like, why he the only one that's out in the street? Like,
I know, right?
He like, listen, I do this and I still do this.
I want a stakeout right now.
Right.
His damn ass is probably retired somewhere in Florida. Can you come up to New York for the interview? Yeah, put me in a car.
Oh my God.
Where he at? He in Boca.
Sorry, that was a Boston accent.
Yeah.
Because I said yeah.
So All right, so let's see where we at now. Yeah, they definitely were too territorial for sure. What's up, RD? All right, so anyway, Gotti's his arrogance, it starts to piss the FBI off even more, especially when being called the Teflon Don. Oh my gosh. Okay, and it makes things, hot for the mob. So, people will start getting arrested all over the place, left and right. And, but like Anthony said, he said that was the name of the game, though. It didn't stop nobody from doing nothing. He's like, that's like smoking a cigarette. You don't think you're going to get cancer? The guy in the back of you is going to get it.
That's just what he was saying, sure.
I'm like, honestly, it was fun listening to him talk. I'm not going to lie. Because that accent, I just love it.
Right before that, it was talking about the celebration they had at the Rev night. And Barbara was let in, and she was like, "Yeah, I remember being at the table drinking Cristal, telling them loose lips stink ships." I said, "Well, what side you on, girl?"
Right. Remember, fellas, loose lips sink ships.
Meanwhile, she probably writing all the details down. This will make a good book.
Yeah. Loose lips.
Like, and then did you write her in there?
Did you hear as she was going in? Because they was like, only you, right? So as they was going in, one of the other reporters was like, Barbara, ask about this, ask about that.
She's like, no, this is my time, honey.
Yes, it's my time for him to stick it to me literally, hun.
Sorry, I thought that was too funny. Oh, God.
He was marvelous to look at.
They had fireworks. I said the audacity these people got.
Yeah, but what about the first time he went and named the boat not guilty? Like, this man is flaunting. And that's what Anthony said. He said he was just disrespecting them, like right in their face. Like, I don't care. Come get me. I'm right here. I'm outside. Come get me. Pull up on me.
You know where I'm at with my office. And they treat it like a real legit corporate office. Like they got the address, everything. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you just come down to the clam bar.
Oh my goodness. So
this is crazy to me. Oh my God.
It really was crazy. I know there's a Gotti movie out, and I think John Travolta played him in one movie, but I didn't see it, and I don't know. Did anybody see that movie?
No, I saw it. I felt like he was too old to play him.
I need to watch. I know it has to be a movie. I gotta find it because
the best John Gotti.
Any good ones though?
The best John Gotti I saw that played a good John Gotti is Ahmad Asante. He has the speech down and everything. If you listen to those tapes, you'll hear a hint of like how he sounds so much like him. Even when I'm trying to figure out what I just saw him in a movie, and I was like, "This is his John Gotti impression," and but it's good though. I mean, I like it.
Yeah, find it.
Okay, well, let's move on. So, guys, now, right? They got let me see if I can go back to the whole thing right here. Sorry, I wanted to pull up the Rico elements, but whatever. So now they hear Gotti on the wire. Actually, so far they got 2 elements for the Rico case, but they didn't have the third one, which is 2 criminal acts on behalf of the enterprise. But don't fear, guys, because Gotti is here. He was there to say what was on his mind, right? So now they hear Gotti on the wire talking trash about Sammy, complaining about all these companies that he's got going on. And so now that's the labor racketeering. So that's 1 act. Okay. 1. All right. So, oh shoot, wait a minute. I meant to get y'all in there. So that's 1 act, y'all.
Don't forget about us.
I know. Don't forget about us. All right. So that's labor racketeering. Did I say that already? Okay.
Yeah.
So then to make it worse, guys. Oh my gosh, do I have the? I probably just don't. I gotta move forward. To make it worse, like I said, he's talking trash about Sammy, right? But to make matters worse, he says, and every time we got a partner that don't agree with us, we delete him. Okay, and we even hear John talking about a whacking that he did years ago of a guy named DB. Okay, that's Robert D. Bernardo. He had one of the biggest porn operations, and while John was in jail, DB was deleted in 1986. He actually went missing. Okay, so nobody knew where the heck he was until now. Of course, he was, presumed dead, but nobody had proof. He went missing. Now he's heard on the wire talking. Talk about it, pretty girl.
I don't have to. John did. He's telling everything. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's funny because now, they were saying how John, of course, he gets to reap the benefits. I mean,
yes.
Much I was making the money is just. But I'm like, why are we? Sorry, it's baffling to me. But I love the fact how I don't know if I was going ahead or not. But I love the fact that when they was able to combine, they were able to get the tapes in from 86 and, before and after these, so they was able to put it together. But it's just commendable. Like the lady at the end, she says, it's you kind of have to credit law enforcement because the amount of work and hours they had to like sit there and listen to these. Oh my God, I would have drove myself crazy.
You see all them tapes? Oh my gosh, there was a lot of tapes, like a lot. And even to go back to them, like in 1990, then to go back to them, which we'll get to soon, but to go back to them and sit there, like, oh my gosh. I'm glad that she actually credited them because, honestly, they really did work hard because, like she said, it wasn't really Gotti in his mouth because he was talking behind closed doors. It's not like he was talking outside. He really should be able to talk about their business. You know what I'm saying? He should be able to talk about the day-to-day operations. But unfortunately, because they're incriminating, you got to be careful. You need to you probably need some code words because like you told the one dude, Anthony, the Justice Department or that building is going to be chasing you for the rest of your life, then you should know that might be a bug somewhere around.
I have a quick question. This may be a dumb question, but when they no longer have use for a bug, do they go back in and retrieve the bug or just keep it there and have it turned off permanently? I'm just curious of what
it sounded like they had it turned off. And remember how they turned it off for a little while and then they went after and turned it back on?
Yeah, but like after like the case is done after and everything, I don't know. I'm random. I just was
never know. They probably leave it there and never know. But then, what if the place shuts down? Maybe they would go back and get it. I don't know, but or people that took over the Ravenite or whoever, they probably went and just swept the whole place. Like, you can get this out of here.
Turn his face over.
No. What do you mean? They had a tape there? They were taping us?
Right. This is how they got Gotti. All right. So so here's the thing, right? What you were saying, pretty girl, you were saying that, how Anthony said something about whatever you just said. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go ahead and because now I can't even freaking remember it. But basically, that he benefited. That's what you said. Sorry, he benefited from. John Gotti was the one that benefited from deleting this man. But Anthony was saying, there's always a method behind the madness. There's always a dollar sign somewhere in the scenario, which is very interesting because you always wonder, like, what the heck? It seems like people be getting deleted for no reason when they're in the mob. Like you can't even, if you breathe wrong, you're gone. And to me, I would be scared to be in something like that, But Gotti said on the tapes that he's heard saying on the tapes that Sammy told him that DB talked about him behind his back. Okay. But Anthony says that either way, DB was a threat. Okay. And so, like, he was also explaining that, when this happens, the family gets the spoils. Like, when one of the guys deleted, the family gets the spoils and stuff like that. So, Moochie, did you want to talk about this guy, DB? Did you have anything to say about him?
I do, because he this was like when they had him talking. This is the one that we was just talking about that disappeared, right? If he didn't bring him up again, they would have never knew about it.
Never.
And that's where I'm like, all right, this is kind of like sometimes they bent the rules as far as the bug, like what they were saying, but it was in the gray area.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing that back up, because I really wanted to get your take on that when it comes to like the bugs, not the bug, like the tickle in the wire kind of situation where they're manipulating stuff to happen.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's just so low down, in my opinion.
I feel like he manipulated a lot of stuff because he got the drop on them twice.
Yeah, because people wind up getting killed because of the stuff that they do. Like we always say this, and it's not just FBI, it's cops too. Like, they be in there trying to pit people against each other, trying to make it seem like, oh, this one snitched and this and that, and they really didn't. And here you go, you get a guy killed, and it's just like, why are you playing this game? They literally look at people like, little pieces on a board in their little game. They don't care about lives. A lot of them don't be caring about lives.
It makes me think about that time in the Wire when they walked the kid past the other kid with the McDonald's, and the guy said he was really snitching, and he was like, he eating a fry, saying, I still ain't gonna say ish.
Exactly.
And he was standing 10 toes down, but they get back on the street, they'll be saying that they told, and they really did.
Yeah, that's messed up. That's why you gotta know. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know the game that they play as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like that lady was saying, I think episode maybe 1 or 2, but she was referring to the guy. I can't remember his name, sorry, but well, he lived a certain type of life, and like she was really justifying, like this witness or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just, y'all really don't care.
No, exactly. What's her name? Diane Jackalone.
Yeah,
she didn't care. She's like, I felt sorry for his family. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
You felt how much your career was going to take off after this. So people, call a spade a spade. That was your career making case.
Exactly. So what's up, Monique Nicole? Renee says they use people like chess pieces. Yep, they sure do. And it's very sad. That's why it's just better. Don't even bother to get into nothing that got to do with the streets, because I'm telling you, on all sides, there's monsters. On all sides, law side, street side. So anyway, so now, like we said, they benefited. Gotti benefited from the enterprise. So now the FBI has all 3 elements to charge the RICO. Okay, they got all 3. Okay, so there was a conversation between when they went to go arrest him. I think they arrested Frank, Sam, Gotti, and Frank LaCasio, right? And when they went to arrest him, they're putting him. George is telling the story about how they're having a little conversation, him and John. And you see them kind of looking like they joking and everything. And he's like, I'm gonna beat this, right? And he's like, your mother's probably on my side. I'm like, yo, you learned something. He was something else, right? Your mother's probably on my side. He's like, you don't know my mother, and all this. I'm like, don't talk about my mom's. I'm like, what is this conversation here? But he said that he kind of shut his mouth when he said, if I were you, I would be worried about the conversation upstairs. And he was like,
yeah. I love the fact it's such a high profile case. They still have all the old footage and I love that they have all that in there.
Yep. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. So they arrest Gotti. All right. Let me see if I don't have all that, but they arrest Gotti, and I told you Sam Gravano and Frankie LaCasio, and this was a 4th attempt to put Gotti away, guys. Okay, and the FBI, they did not want to lose, so they decided to eat a little crow and ask the task force for some help. But you hear George saying that they were a little concerned that the members of the task force were still mad about what they had said and stuff, right? Ghetto, right? So they still mad about not telling them about the bug, but the task force wasn't petty, right? They were fine with working together as long as they put Gotti away. Okay, so now we're hearing that the tapes that they have combined, because we got them, the FBI, they got 1990 tapes. The task force got 1986 tapes, and combining, so they got stuff that came, like they got FBI got a little bit of, I don't want to say a little bit, but they got stuff, right, that they know is incriminating. but the tapes from 1986 actually bring it home. They like connect the dots a lot. So, Moochie, how did you feel about that?
Okay, I with them connecting all the dots and them arresting him, I wanted to know where it was gonna lead. But back then, you had they didn't mention it. I think me and you talked about this the other night. How they took the lawyer off the case.
Right.
They didn't touch this at all, and this is how they even the playing field, and they know they did a dirty move. When they his lawyers, it was 2 lawyers they took from him. Actually 3, like one of the assistants. So that they're saying they even the playing field, and I'm saying they didn't. I'm saying they did something foul to make sure it would stick. And they didn't. I thought they was going to talk about it. I went back and watched it before we tonight again. I was going to go back and watch it, and no, it wasn't mentioned.
It wasn't, because I was looking for it too, but I already kind of knew that it wasn't mentioned. And they didn't. It was to the point where they didn't even mention him again.
No,
they didn't even mention him again. Like
that's
they didn't
why
say
I want to see a different. I want to see a different version of this.
Because this is really their
from
side,
the mobster's point of view. I want to see them because they're not gonna sugarcoat ish. They're gonna be like, they did a little dirty move and got rid of this lawyer. You know how they're gonna
freaking rats.
Those scumbags.
Oh gosh. Ooh.
They had to really cheat to put them behind the bars.
Yes. Those tapes were woven. Let me see, woven into a web of deceit. It wasn't above board. Yeah. Pretty girl, you have anything to add?
No, I wasn't aware about lawyers being taken away, so I need to maybe ask y'all behind the scenes what was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I did look it up the other night when we were talking about it.
Oh, okay.
I did look it up.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So guys, the celebrities come out to support. Yeah. And I'm like, are we serious right now? You got freaking Anthony Quinn, Mickey Rourke, and John Amos. And John Amos over there talking about some daggone, he's a fascinating man. God, he's a fascinating man. And, he likes the way he carries himself. And I'm just like, what?
I was like, now, James, what? I had me looking at him at a whole new light. I was just like, what, John, what we talking about?
Yeah.
Hilarious. And maybe it goes to the thing how you was, I think, saying last week where, yes, we know he does all these crimes, but maybe people they just saw the personality and they think it was connecting. Like, no, this is somebody that's a little
this is a true gangster. Like, come on. The heck is wrong with you guys? Like, y'all here acting like you supporting a fellow actor or something. Like, this is not a fellow actor, even though he liked being in the spotlight and stuff and possibly putting on a little show, but maybe he chose the wrong business. He probably should have went into acting for real. Sure.
Do you know how they probably was using him to get roles in movies? Just from that, all you had to do back in the day, a lot of this stuff was on TV. I'm talking about your local channels, Channel 7, Eyewitness News. That was on there. You saw that was the soundbite you got of the day with your evening news. That was the soundbite you had in the day with your morning coffee. You was watching it at 11 o'clock. So that was on TV. All of that, the bodies, when the pow pows happened, all of that.
Yeah.
And he did walk around like he was untouchable.
So let's not forget, because I meant to have this scrolling across the screen. I mean, it's scrolling across the screen, but I wanted to do it earlier. Sorry. So, we got Anthony. He said, we're mob guys. We're not supposed to have a public. We're not supposed to have fans, right? And because we heard that Gotti was actually signing people, like he was doing autographs. And he said that Lee was like, are you freaking kidding me? What is he doing? So there were people in, in his associates and everything. They were looking at him like, this is not what we do. This is basically a secret society situation. This is not what we do. But he didn't give two craps, okay? So yeah, the celebrities coming out, and they said one of the reporters was like, she's never covered a case where it was like standing room only in the courtroom. I'm like, wow. You got celebrities coming out, and then you got standing room only, just people just coming like it's just a bunch of spectators. You know what I'm saying?
You know whose trial was like that? Because I had jury duty at the time, standing room only.
Who, OJ?
Nah, Sean Bell.
Oh.
I was on jury duty. I was on jury duty when they did that. But mine was a burglary case with an Asian dude. But anywho, that's another story in itself. But yeah, that room was standing room only.
That's funny. I thought about his thing the other day. That's such a sad situation, man.
Yeah, so, I had jury duty at that time.
So we got Laura, right, who says that, every crime that they charged, right, they had a tape that covered that crime. A tape basically proven, right? So you got conspiracy to basically, murder, gambling, union organizations, and labor racketeering. Okay. And so that, the tapes are being played and everything like that. And so the crazy thing is that as people are hearing Gotti on these tapes and what he's saying, like they're hearing that this guy is really like, he's not the person that they thought he was. Like he's vulgar. He's pretty much a monster. Like he's out here ordering hits and stuff like that. He's not the gentleman or this, this kind of distinguished man or gentleman that people thought he was. And so, they probably was realizing that, this is a real gangster. Like, oh shoot, maybe he's on trial for a reason all this time. I'd love to know what people were thinking when they heard that, because if you let the media people tell you, they were like shocked. But it's like, who did you think y'all was capturing this whole time?
Thank you.
Did y'all really think that this man was innocent? Y'all over here having all of this fun. Like you hear one of the guys saying, yeah, we talked about his $2,000 suits, but we never talked about the money that brought the suits.
Yep.
Yeah. So now then they played a tape of Gotti bad-mouthing Sammy Gravano. And now this is when it gets real. Okay. Because on the tapes, this is the first time, obviously, that Sammy is hearing any of these things. So he don't know that Gotti feels this way about him, and we also heard Andrea saying, let me see, I'm going to show you guys who Andrea is. We hear her saying that, he was a dude that was like really, really loyal. Sammy was really, really loyal to John. And so, now if you think, you kind of listen to how she was saying, her perspective of everything, and then to put yourself in Sammy's shoes, and now you hear your boss, a man that you've been down for this whole time, saying all of this stuff about you, is like, And then you got Laura, who is saying, we all hear John bad-mouthing Sammy, right? But we don't hear how Sammy is receiving it. Sammy is receiving it like, this guy wants to kill me. And so next thing you know, he calls the FBI and he's saying he want to testify or he want to cooperate. And I'm just like, it's just kind of weird how that just goes from that to that. But when you think about it, where else was it going to go? Well, I'll start with you on that, pretty girl, because it's like
one word. Awkward.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just can imagine like just hearing the tape. It was like, I thought we was cool. Like, it's given like 1990 on Freeway and you talking to someone like, oh, this is how you really feel.
Yes.
Okay,
yep.
Committing all these crimes for you, and I thought we was cool, but it shows you that no one's exempt from the wrath of John's mouth.
No one. Yeah. Moochie, how do you feel about it?
I thought it was foul, but when you watch this unfold, because this was like you was getting a play-by-play with this back then.
Yeah.
And the question, when you find out he's gonna flip, you like, oh shoot. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the last one people would have thunk. That would have, would have snitched. But
right. And so, people were shocked that he flipped and everything. Like I said, Andrea, let me see if I get her picture back. She was saying that, Sammy was like a diehard street guy. You know what I'm saying? And he thought that Anthony was saying he thought that Sammy was a scumbag for doing this. So, Anthony, he's just down for Gotti all the way. But she is saying, like, nobody saw that coming. Like, are you serious? Sammy is for the streets. There ain't no daggone way. But I feel like he did this because there was nothing else to do. If you get what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like because he's a street guy and he is about that life, if you know what I mean, he probably would have done to Gotti what Gotti did to Paul. Because when we talked about it in the first episode, we talked about how it was like a kill or be killed thing. Like, there were various reasons why Gotti deleted Paul, not just because he didn't like him, but also because Paul wasn't really feeling, and it was also heard that he was gonna delete Gotti after Christmas, right? But he got his Christmas canceled instead. And so it was like a kill or be killed type of situation. So if this would have happened and maybe they weren't in captivity, right? They weren't in lockup. Do you think that it would have turned out to be a little different? And yeah, I don't know.
I'm a little confused. Didn't we have on the previous episode somebody recounting that Sammy decided to flip when his family came to see him and he didn't want his family to go through that?
No, that was Sal, the other dude.
Sal. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I was mixing the gangsters up. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold up. Okay. Thank you.
Policey or something like that.
Yes.
Sal
okay. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, why do I need to stay loyal to you? You done pretty much told me how you feel. And if I get, some benefit from, ratting, then it is what it is.
Moochie, what do you think about it?
I when I saw this, I was like, he just saw that he felt like he was going to get somebody to take him out.
Sammy.
Sammy. As far as Gotti, he really felt that. So it was either maybe he didn't think he would do it, and he know he can't do it. You got to have a sit down for that. They still got rules.
Yeah.
So this was like, and maybe he was really done with the life. Like, what else can you do after this?
But here's the question: who had to sit down for Paul? If Paul was the boss of bosses, who had to sit down for him?
It was none. Remember,
so then he didn't have to do one either.
I guess I guess maybe he felt like he couldn't do it.
And then the way
he cared about, how somebody be like, but then again, I can't see him like that.
Yeah. And then
it gotta be more to it.
The way that they talk about Sammy, like he was such a problem and mad dangerous and stuff like that. I mean, he would have had the respect of folks probably, but at the same time, he wasn't as charismatic. They said he was more laid back and stuff like that. So I don't think anybody would have okayed him taking out John. He would have had to just probably act on his own, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like you said, there's probably a lot of, reasons behind the factors. Like you never know. But they talk about how he even deleted his own brother-in-law.
Yeah. I was like,
Sammy.
I need more information about that.
I know. Like he was really like, they didn't call him Sammy the Bull for nothing. Like he was really out here just being, that's scary. So we hear about this showdown that they have. Sammy takes the stand and he first of all, he gives insight on everything before he even took the stand. He tells George that he fixed the trial, you know what I'm saying, that one of the trials before paid a juror off and all of that. And then he took the stand and he confessed to about 7 deletions that he either took part in or did himself, right? And he also gave all the details of the Castellano murder. And all along, he was looking right at Gotti when he was doing it. So it's not like I'm up here scared. Like, I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of went around and we just made sure that the bodies were, done for. He was looking right at him and they said they was like having like a whole dagger shooting contest. I'm like, to be not a fly in the wall, to be in that daggone courtroom. They said it was so quiet. People didn't even want to look at Sam or nothing.
I wonder if it was like an exclusive club, like if you knew the bailiff, like, can you get me into the club?
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
But the fact that Sammy said that, after the murder that him and John rode by to make sure it was done, I'm just like, oh, okay.
Right. That's insane. So guys, the verdict is in and he's guilty, okay? Like the law enforcement, they were scared and nervous as heck. George even said that he saw one juror with a tear coming down her eye. And he didn't know what to think of that. Like, oh my gosh, what's going on? He didn't know what to make of it. But Gotti was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. And he went from Teflon Don to Velcro Don. That's what that guy said. He's now
stripes to the prison stripe.
For the prison stripe. Yeah, they had a few jokes. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
Had a few jokes, okay. So listen, while the lawmen are celebrating, the folks that are the associates of Gotti, supporters of Gotti, they are pissed. They're listen, they rioting in the streets and people are pissed off. You got one guy coming out. I don't know if this was the lead dude, but he was like, the judge, the jury, they're all fake. Every one of them, they're all rats. He was pissed. They're all rats.
That was hilarious. He was big mad.
He was so pissed off.
Not our hero.
This man got people rioting in the streets. Wow. Oh,
they was tearing stuff up in Howard Beach, yo.
Right.
They was running amok over there.
I tell you, I feel like when you have like this type of infectious kind of personality that could touch people, it's just really, it's good for you to do good with it. But listen, it's not to say he didn't do good because I know he was taking care of folks in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Like he just seemed like that type of dude. And he was definitely taking care of people in the neighborhood. You don't get that kind of love for nothing. Like we had people that knew him and loved him for a reason. And then you had people that just loved him because he's in the papers all the time. He's this, dude that's dressed nice and all of this stuff. He got the smile and he got, you know what I'm saying?
No,
but
he had the charisma.
Yeah. But then you got people that really knew him, So Renee says, fun fact, Sammy the Bull now has a podcast called Gravano's Bullpen. It's in the 5th season. Oh, yeah, I got to go check that out. I think I heard about that.
I seen little clips on TikTok of it.
Yeah, I got to go check that out.
You could fall down a rabbit hole going over there,
Yeah, you sure? I'm pretty sure that you will be on there all day long marathoning. Like, you'll be like, oh my gosh. Then probably looking up other stuff like, who's this person?
I got 2 questions for y'all.
Okay.
Do y'all believe that they would have been able to get a guilty conviction without Sammy's testimony? Because it seems like all they had was wiretapes. Like the only body they probably would have had is Paul, but
nope.
That's what I was thinking. Like
I feel like it's a yes.
You think so?
Yeah. Why? I mean, I don't see why it shouldn't have been a yes. I really don't. Like they got all this proof. I just don't.
They did have most of the check boxes off.
Yeah, I just don't see why it wouldn't have went a certain way. Like they're literally listening to this guy
Unless he bought the jury.
For sure,
You know
that's true,
what I'm
and
saying?
that's another. That's
Did
another
that,
thing.
if
It's
he
the
had
buying.
done and did that again and still had his lawyer, then yes.
Yeah. So that,
It's
and
the
that's the thing. It was
lawyer
the
thing that
buying.
got me.
It was the buying of the jury thing because he would have been
Uh-huh.
convicted a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
It was
true.
the
Right.
Jack alone situation. That was a lost cause because she was using folks that nobody felt like, they're whatever. They didn't feel like credible witnesses because they were all scumbags. That's what they're saying. Basically, they're all scumbags to them, right? They're already bad
Uh-huh.
people. So why should you listen to them? You know what I mean? She just
Yeah.
had a terrible case. She thought it was slam dunk. It was terrible. But yeah, if not bought,
Yo,
the
they was
jury,
laughing at her.
yeah, the jury, if not bought out, I definitely think that it would have been a conviction again. But man, oh man, it had to happen like that for
Yeah.
Sammy to turn on him and him to be exposed in court like that.
Oh,
But what was
yeah.
the point of being? Here's my question though: what was the point of the exposure though? Because it's not like they were trying to get Sammy to flip. That's my thing.
Mm-mm.
Why would you expose that in court like that? But
I
I
think
guess
they did it
because of the
intentionally.
not the racketeering,
Yeah.
the labor, labor racketeering.
Yeah. That was that union call.
Yeah, I guess they
Do y'all
had
think
to.
that's why he served 5 years? Because it definitely, he didn't definitely go down for any murder. So I'm like, what was the 5 years for that Sammy served?
I guess because he cooperated.
No, I mean, like, what charges they give him, or did they have these charges and just reduce it to 5 years, or they's like, okay, we got to get you on something. So what was the something? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, I don't know, boo. Because we got
I know it's a whole
we
rabbit
got
hole.
yeah, it really is.
I'll be on Google all
Yeah.
tomorrow, child.
Exactly.
I did get the article about the lawyer, and I got the thing for the movie.
Oh yeah, I got the picture. We got the movie right here. This is the movie that Oh, okay, that's who that is. He played. That's the one from was he on? Is that the one from? No, is that him from Godfather
I just
Harlem?
saw him in.
That's not him from God. That's
I
not
think
the one.
he was in one season.
Oh, cause man,
I think he was in one season. He didn't stay on long though.
Okay.
But the last thing I just saw him in, it was something I saw him in. And I can't even think of it right now. It was a
I
good
know for a
show
fact
too.
that he was in Everybody Loves Raymond, an episode of that. And he was like he was working in a pizza shop. I remember that whole thing. He was just like, I don't know, offending. Raymond was offending him and stuff. Oh, he was whatchamacallit's, I think, father or somebody like that. Stefania's father. That's Robert's. I don't know if y'all watch Everybody Loves Raymond. I don't know if that show. Yeah, that was Robert's little girlfriend, Natalia, who yeah. What's up? I mean, Renee Hicks, thank you for sending me the Cash App. I really appreciate you, my friend.
When did this movie come out?
Yeah, when did that come out? I gotta see it.
Hold on, I think I still got it up. 1996.
Okay, before he died. So how long was
he?
So he went in 90, right? Gotti?
Hold on, I got the
90 or 90.
So he did like 20 something years before he died.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
1991. That was the 1991 trial.
Because wasn't it in his daughter's show? I want to say it was
Growing Up Gotti.
Growing Up Gotti, yeah. Because didn't she have scenes where they were like, he would call and they would talk to him from prison?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever watched it, but it looked like it was good to watch.
It was good.
I know that. I know the brother was locked up when her brother was locked up and he got out.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a good show.
We was talking about that the other night too. Yeah.
The mob is totally it's different now, isn't it? Because everybody's on. It's more flamboyant than it used to be. Everybody's going on reality shows and talking about it, and it's not the way it used to be. The world is not the way it used to be, though.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah.
They well, look, they feel like the public, these crime reporters and things like that is making money off it. Why can't I? Right. Why am I gonna be broken? You're gonna get rich off of the lifestyle that I live.
Right. And a story that I'm a part of. and that I can actually tell you firsthand from firsthand experience.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Right. Don't tell too much.
Yeah. This article was published in 1994, and that was when the judge took the lawyer off the trial because he was talking to the press.
Oh, that's why he did it. Okay.
Yeah.
It was like the main lawyer, or
and then they were saying that he was on some of those wiretaps, so they used that as the reasoning too.
Oh.
Like, he's on some of these wiretaps, so we're gonna have to cross-examine him.
Very interesting story. Actually really enjoyed watching it. Of course you don't enjoy what these people get into, what they do and stuff like that, but this is their life. But it's kind of amazing how somebody like John Gotti could be considered a superhero from that lady. I mean, that was crazy to me.
He's a superhero.
That's crazy.
He's a superhero. He saves the neighborhood.
So we're gonna be done, but thank you so much for everybody that has watched this with us and came on the journey with me and Pretty Girl and Moochie. Thank you, Pretty Girl and Moochie, for covering this with me. Moochie, what do you have going on your channel?
Tomorrow, join us for 9. We're gonna be talking about the Jackson family American Dream. We're gonna talk about that, and then we're going right into pre-gaming for Raising Canaan.
Whoa!
So it's gonna be back to back. I hope you guys tune in. And that's about it. Then the reviews gonna be coming through. Reviews and theories.
Word up. All right, awesome. Tune in. What about you, Pretty Girl?
Yes, well, I've been putting out content every day this week. So yesterday I did a pregame of Raising Canaan. Tomorrow I will be finishing my refresher review of season 2, covering episodes 9 and 10, which is perfect because of course we have season 3 that's going to be dropping at 12. And then I have a few other things. Team Toxic Conference. I'm going to be talking with fellas about some topics. So please pray for your girl. And we got
I give you the sign of the cross, love.
I mean, it's things that
oh my goodness.
So it's going to be interesting. And Monday we got Rap-ish, and Raising Canaan season 3 reviews are on Sunday mornings.
Keep talking. The fact that you said conference.
Yeah, that's what I call it. It's a conference.
Took me away, baby. Took me away.
It's part 4 of the conference.
Took me away. But that's what's up, though. Tune in to Pretty Girl Loves Trap content, okay? As for me, we are back for Midnights, okay? With Miss K, or Moonlighting with Miss K, as I call it. All right? And we're going to be discussing season 3 of Raising Canaan, episode number 1. Can't freaking wait. Okay. And then hopefully we're back with the panel to discuss it. The favorite moments, least favorite moments, scratching my head moments of the first episode of Raising Canaan. Yes! Thank you guys so much. We'll talk later. If this is your first time coming across my channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care and be blessed. Bye-bye.